You're watching 13 on your side.
We've all had to give up a lot of things during the pandemic, but one of the things many of us are missing is that human touch and those hugs, especially if you're a hugger like I am. Joining me to talk a little bit about hugging and how we can get through this is April Kaiserlian with the Grand Rapids Center for Mindfulness. And April, you have really touched base on some of the things that hugging does. I mean, it does more than just make you feel good. It actually activates our nervous system.
It does. It activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the relaxation response. And when we can tap into that, that helps release oxytocin and dopamine. Sometimes oxytocin is referred to as the cuddle hormone. It also reduces stress hormones like cortisol and actually has been shown to increase cardiovascular health. And so touch is vital. It's important. And
so many people talk about, oh, you need 3 hugs a day to maintain, 4 hugs a day to grow and so forth. And you kind of do. You really do need that human connection and that touch.
Mhm. Yeah, one interesting study actually demonstrated that we have special nerve fibers along the shoulders and the back. And so as you and I were talking, when you receive a hug, somebody wraps their arms around you, they're actually touching those nerve fibers in your shoulders and back. And so those nerve fibers in particular send comforting signals to the emotional center of the brain. And so there are things that we can do to mimic that or simulate that while we're in this season of not having touch or hugs be as accessible.
What does not having our daily hugs, if you're a hugger or if you're used to having hugs from people, what does that do to you emotionally and physically?
Emotionally and physically, well, again, for a lot of people, it will increase cortisol. Those stress hormones will start to build up in the body without regular hugs and physical touch. Often with physical touch comes the capacity to connect emotionally, to share how we're doing and to share our stories and experiences with one another. And so we're also missing that. You might think of hugging and like, how are you doing, almost come together. And so people are missing out on that on a regular basis. We tend to poo-poo, the typical, like, how are you? Oh, I'm fine, as if we're being false, but actually it's a vital part of touching in and literally touching in with that hug.
So we're going to leave our viewers with 2 quick ways that you can help simulate hugging.
Simulate hugging, one of my favorite things to do is grab a blanket and really wrap it tight around your shoulders and your body. And then also hugging a pillow or putting a pillow behind you and leaning against it. I think body pillows probably should have sold out when we went into lockdown because we need this kind of physical touch and pressure.
This really does feel good. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, April. You've given us some great things to think about. If you'd like to learn more about what we've been talking about, which is the need for hugs, I've got more information for you on 13onyourside.com.